Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going. All right, let's get into the book, chapter number 44. And after that, we will see where we take things. Have everyone noticed my personality now of being on morning mindset? I literally go through one line of a book, of a chapter, and then we go off into to Wonderland. Okay. A weave, yes. All right. Chapter number 44. The great ones, guys. Chapter number 44, one sec. Let me put it back in the chat. Okay. All right, chapter number 44. The great ones are the most enthusiastic people alive. Okay? What's up, Hawk? What's up, Chris? Okay, guys. If someone could screenshot and then put the chapter, please. So I don't. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. It says, the book starts by saying, all professional performers have discovered the real secret of greatness. And I'm going to change this. All professional performers have discovered the real secret of, I would say, getting what they want and moving people, which is enthusiasm. Oh, enthusiasm for what they do. But enthusiasm, that word gets you what you want. Champions are driven by an enthusiasm that fires their soul and keeps them on the practice field long after everyone else has gone home. Okay, I want to read the definition of enthusiasm just so we're all on the same page. Enthusiasm is a feeling. It's a feeling of energy. Remember, guys, thoughts create feelings. Okay, enthusiasm is not, you can't say to yourself, I'm not an enthusiastic person. It's a feeling, it's a state, it's a feeling, right? And so you can engineer the feeling of enthusiasm, right? It is a feeling of energetic interest in something and a desire to be involved in it. An energetic interest in something, right? So you have higher energy towards something that you like. You guys get it? So you can engineer it by understanding what you like. And then once you have high energy and you love what you do, which is high frequency, you push it into something that you like and you become an enthusiastic individual. That is how you develop enthusiasm, right? If you love what you do, the more you get good at it, you become more enthusiastic. And then you get to the point where you're enthusiastic as hell. And yes, it comes naturally when you push it into the correct, when you construct. Let me read the chapter. Let me read it again. A feeling of energetic interest in something and a desire to be involved in it. Okay. It also says, yeah, strong excitement and interest. Enthusiasm all involves a deep-seated enjoyment and eagerness to engage with a particular subject. Enthusiasm is closely linked to other positive traits like passion, zest, zeal. Enthusiasm is generally associated with positive emotions and a sense of high energy, right? So let's keep going. Champions are driven by an enthusiasm that fires their soul and keeps them on the practice field long after everyone else has gone home. The great ones know the raw, unbridled power of an enthusiastic mindset. Amateurs tend to be more enthusiastic about the accomplishments of others. This is so true. I'm sorry, guys, I have to break down. This is so true. People are more worried about the football game and who won than themselves making their life better. That's actually very, very true. Oh, that hit me. Okay. Champions are okay. The great ones know the raw, unbridled power of enthusiastic mindset. Amateurs tend to be more enthusiastic about the accomplishments of others, such as actors, sports stars, and musicians. While amateurs are spending their enthusiasm on batting averages and the box office, professional performers are investing their life energy into their field of choice. Okay? So you have a middle class person, right? You have a middle class person who focuses all of their energy. That's amazing that you love other people. That's amazing that you love watching others win, right? That specific thing that you love, which is watching other people win, is great, right? I love it too, right? We all love watching other people win. And if you don't love watching other people win, it's probably a sign of jealousy and a low frequency, right? So it's high frequency like when other people win. But this concept is not the belief of liking other people win, right? This concept is the belief that middle class people focus all of their enthusiasm and energy, right, on the wrong things, on other people and not themselves, right? Guys, these are two separate beliefs here. Loving other people win and being excited for them is a different belief than like focusing all of your energy on this thing, right? But most people love to watch other people win and they don't have them. They're not them themselves. Don't win anything. While amateurs are spending their enthusiasm on batting averages in the box office, professional performers are investing their life energy into the field of choice. Champions are willing to put themselves on the line and risk failure and rejection, while amateurs sit on the sidelines and observe without the risk. Champions often have the worldview that life is a game to play the best of their ability, with enthusiasm and tenacity until their hearts stop beating. Amateurs often think life is something to struggle through while avoiding pain at all costs. My friend and mentor, Larry Wilson, has a great vision of their arrival at the pearly gates. The amateur arrives and St. Peter says, "Congratulations, you've arrived safely at your death." Safely at death. Champions know having something to be enthusiastic about is one of the most important ingredients of a happy life. The great ones are either engaged in or actively seeking their passion every day. So I want to go digress off of this, how he frames why to be enthusiastic, because I can tell you guys that after building like even 6FC to, we're not relative to other companies big at all. Like we're just getting started, right? 1% on the loading screen. I can tell you that being enthusiastic towards people, guys, and every person that you talk to, if you have enthusiasm behind you, if you have a higher energy to you than everyone else that the person speaks to, the person ends up naturally, it feels like a magnet attached to you. They want to work with you. What happens is that you start working with better people, higher class people, like top 1%ers, because you yourself have the enthusiasm and the belief system. I think a strong belief system also makes you exude confidence and makes you enthusiastic as hell, right? But to me, enthusiasm, more than having a happy life and it's tied to passion, is being enthusiastic as hell about your craft and being enthusiastic about like passing that energy onto people. Is you become an energy giver, not an energy drainer, right? So there's two different types of people. There's energy drainers and energy giver. If you walk into a room and the person sitting there complaining, playing victim, talking about them, and nothing else matters but their problems, they're an energy drainer, right? It's when you can't be in the room with someone and they drain you. If you leave the room, and also identify yourself, guys, if people come into the room and they drain, and you walk out and you're like, I can't take that, like, I can't take that guy or girl. My energy is drained. That is a clear indication that you should not be around that person because they drain your energy, right? Whereas the opposite effect is that some people, you walk into a room and they give so much life, they give so much energy into the room, into you, that you feel like you can conquer the world when you leave. And so to go off beyond enthusiastic as hell is you need to understand that in dealing with people and dealing with and having business relationships, especially, understanding that you always want to be the energy giver, right? You always want to be the person that the person leaves. And mind you, I want to say something. Being enthusiastic as hell is great. Being a high energy, enthusiastic person is wonderful. But the most important part about being an energy giver, I know we're getting into another subject, but it's very important that you understand this, because you want to be the person that always gives people energy and always makes people. You want to see yourself. There's sports agents, right? An agent is a connector, right? So an agent connects someone to something, right? So, or someone to another person, right? Like they're a connector, they're the middleman, an agent. And you want to see yourself as a change agent. The chapter in the book actually says it. You need to see yourself as a way to connect a person to change, right? So you are a transformation agent. That's what you do, right? You know how to transform people. And so how you transform people is you genuinely want to care about them. First off, when you're in a setting where you're talking to people, you genuinely have to care about them, but you understand that you yourself, your job when you're dealing with people is you're professional. Like it's almost like you're an agent of something that you can't talk about. So no one knows that you're a change agent, right? I like this topic. No one knows that you're like an actual change agent, right? It's almost like you're in like the government or something, working as a secret change agent to change people's lives, right? Transform them. So you don't tell people, but when people say, what do? You explain what you do. But in your head, when dealing with people, you are there to change them. You're a change agent. And how good are you at being an agent of change, right? And so when you walk into a setting and you understand how to make the person go from where they are to walking out and be like, I really like that Jordy guy. Like, I can't, like, I really like that guy, but he's actually right. Why was I only thinking about 10 grand a month? Maybe I should be thinking about 100 grand a month. And then boom, they change, right? And so the energy giver, energy saver, guys, very few people, I think there's a, I don't think there's a middle ground, but I think there is. Now that I think about it, because I can tell you that, like, I think now I have a limited friend group now, but I think most people growing up are pretty much all. There's people that are funny, right? Like comedic, and then So I'll say another massive golden nugget. I'll say another massive golden nugget, which is friends are play different roles, guys. Like people think that friends are only like people say. I have a very different take on this than most people. Ty Lopez also has like his own take, which is like 33% of your time should be spent with people under you and you bringing them up. 33% of your time should be spent with people on the same level as you, and 33% of your time should be spent with like your mentors, people bringing you up, right? So you're bringing people up, you're on the same level talking to people, and then you're getting brought up, right? And so it's like 33%, it's 33%, 33%. And so I think for me, I have to assess it, but I spend a lot of time like talking with my mentor, a lot of time talking with. I have to assess it. What about the 1%? What do you mean by that? So I do want to go back though, because I think most people don't realize that they actually drain people's energy. Um, I don't think a lot of people truly understand what they are, if they're an energy drainer or a giver. And conversation to conversation, you can drain people, right? Like you have to be very cognizant. And I've always been a person, always been a person where in my head, if I know that I'm starting to energy drain someone, and even if it's after multiple conversations or something and it's the same thing, I will start to be like, okay, I don't want to like, there's no point of ruining the other person's day because your day is ruined, right? That's a huge thing, guys. Like, there's no like understand that, right? When you're in conversation with people or friends, just because your life is not going well, you don't have to cast it onto other people. Like maybe it's just a deep desire, like as maybe as like a male, I guess we have that, but like you don't need to give other people the low frequency energy if you're having a bad day, right? You still are there to be a change agent, right? An agent who has to connect a sports person, an athlete, right, to a team, right? That connector. They don't like the agent. It doesn't matter if the agent's having a bad day or something that just happened in their personal life. They still have to get the job done, right? And so if you see yourself, literally, your job, your role, your position in life is a change agent. And no matter where you walk into, no matter who you speak to, you're always there to change, right? And so that's like a little mental model that's pretty cool. Um, my partner just came in from the other room and said, "Oh, he's spitting." Thank you, appreciate it. You're the man, or woman, man or woman. True, I love this. Yes, I really like that you could recognize that. Yes, it's very important, guys. Like I don't like I. Some people are just completely like after dealing with a lot of people, but even growing up, I look back. It's a lot of people that don't guys like make sure you're aware. Like make sure you ask yourself, am I draining people's energy or am I like giving them energy? Right. I'll go back to it. I'll go back to the biggest picture of all. The biggest picture of this entire morning mindset, like if there was one big topic, obviously reprogramming is a massive word, but if there was one big topic for like changing your life, it's 100% awareness. And people don't understand awareness at the level that they're supposed to, and that's what makes them that's what gives them limiting beliefs. That's what keeps them from continuing on success in life, right? Until you become aware of these things. And also, this is how you get filthy rich, is you're aware. If you're more aware of the market when other people aren't, you can make more money. If you're aware that TikTok Shop affiliate is a thing and you get into it, you make money. Other people weren't aware of the business model. right? And so, like, the more aware you are in business, in all things, business, personal life, right? The more aware you are in relationships, in your finance area, like every area that you have to be aware of, right? And so awareness is the key. It's the hardest thing too, because you constantly have to assess it, right? But awareness is the key. Yeah, it's the golden key that unlocks the door to the mind. 100%. Awareness is the first stage, like by far. When I was sitting there maxed out on credit cards, when I was sitting there 3 weeks away from not being able to pay rent, when I was sitting there and reading this book, and other mindset books, but when I read chapter number 8 for this book specifically, and I sat there and I was like, for the first time, that is when I started questioning my belief system. Right, I'll show you guys in case someone's brand new in the chat. But let me go to MM, chapter number 8. Okay, so you can see about 70% towards the bottom of the page, right? Lilia, you're not. Lilia says you're new. Lily, you've been the morning mindset for like, I think 3 weeks now, right? So guys, towards the bottom of the page, like 70% on the right. Yeah, she has been here for like a month or 2 months. Okay, towards the bottom of the page, it says positive brainwashing, and then it says when aspiring. Okay, so, okay, good. If this is your first, hi, Nicole. If this is your first, Nicole, this is what took me. This chapter right here, when I read this, I was in debt. I had bought mindset books because I didn't know what was wrong with my mindset. And I was completely down under in terms of not understanding why I wasn't making money in the business models. I wasn't aware that it had nothing to do with the business model itself and everything to do with myself. And so I finally kind of became guys, please can you guys please put the chapters back in the thing? Okay, so I finally became aware for the first time that there's something wrong with my mindset. So I buy a bunch of books and I get to this chapter right here in this specific book. It's not about the book, it's about the chapter, right? And so I get this chapter right here, and it says towards like the 70% down the page, it says, when aspiring champions learn they can program any belief they wish through repetitious, ongoing self-talk, build that belief into a foundation for their consciousness, it's a revelation. I also read that first line at the very, very top. It says, one of the major distinctions, listen very closely. If you're brand new, listen very closely. This is the line that changed my life. Okay, this took me from $4,000 in debt to making 100 plus grand a month in profit 12, 13 months later, right? One of the major distinctions between middle class people and world class people, 99% versus the 1%, is their what? It's not their IQ. It's not their work ethic. It's not the business model that they're in. It's their belief system. And I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, if someone who teaches the best of the best, the best of the best athletes, and even best of the best business people on this planet, if he says one of the major differences between a middle class person who stays broke and a world class person has nothing to do, it's not the major distinction between IQ. It's not the major distinction is work ethic. It's not major distinction is getting in the right vehicle at the right time. If what he's saying is that it's only one major thing, your belief system. He could have rewrote it. He could have said that the keys to this, here's three of the major things that are the difference. No. He said the major distinction, right, is their belief system. Now, the question is like, what even is a belief system? I'll just do a definition. A set of interrelated beliefs, okay? They're interrelated. They all relate to each other. When we say our belief system at 6FC, you'll notice they all correspond to each other. Like, if you have a problem in your life and you're like, I'm not making money and I'm mad at this, it's like you go back to it and you're like, oh, I realized something. Challenge over comfort, it's supposed to be happening. And then you go, my purpose to become the best version of myself. And then you go, my income will never exceed my level of personal development. And in personal development, skills, beliefs, and traits. You realize, wait a second, I have the wrong belief. I'm focused on the outcome. I'm not making money. That's the wrong belief system. What belief changes it? Inputs equals outputs. They all correspond, guys. They're all wisdom, right? And so wisdom connects all the dots, right? Knowledge is without connecting all the dots, right? Information is just a bunch of dots differently, right? And so if anyone has ever seen that little chart, I'll put it in the chat later, but the belief system is an interrelated a set of interrelated beliefs. You have a bunch of beliefs that are interrelated. It's a framework of ideas that shape how an individual understands and interprets the world. They could be religious beliefs, philosophical, political, personal. They could be about money. They could be about morality. Like, there are different belief systems. Our belief system has nothing to do with trying to get you off of a religion. If you're religious, you have your religion, right? And I've told you guys a story about understanding God and the downside of not believing in something, right? But you have your religious beliefs, you need your money beliefs and your personal beliefs, right? You also have right? So spiritual beliefs, financial beliefs, personal beliefs on how they view the world and how they operate in society in the first place. Most people so when you look at this very simply, you start to understand that your framework, your shape of how you view the world, how you interpret the world, all of the beliefs that you have are lines of code in a computer, right, that make up the game, which is you playing the game. And all of these beliefs make up your belief system, right? So you have a certain system of beliefs. Now, if you're not where you want to be, if you're not making the money that you currently want to make, it's because of your belief system. That's it. Like, it's seriously that simple. And so if you're not making the money that you want to make, you have the wrong belief system first, right? So what you do is you focus on the belief system. The question becomes, and the question that I had for myself is, okay, Jordy, you're in debt. You've never made 20 grand a month, 10 grand a month. Something's wrong. What is wrong? I started to ask myself these questions, and I'm like, okay, where do beliefs even come from, right? When you break down beliefs very simply, of where they come from, all different things. There's a bunch of psychological, there's a bunch of deeper rooted information here. But very simply put, for the easiness and simplicity of how I changed, is you look at the information, because information constructs your thinking and your belief system, right? If you grow up in a religious household and your parents feed you information, if you went to a Christian school, what do they feed you? They feed you Christian information. That information becomes your belief system. And now your spiritual side of yourself is a belief system of Christianity. And you have Christian beliefs. If something's going wrong, you say, God is my shield. If something happens, you say John 3:16. Well, God still loves me. Whatever the chapter is. For God so loved the world, he gave his only son. Anyway, John 3:16, right? You have these terms, you have these phrases, you have these verses, right? That runs your belief system on the spiritual side. Right? And what happens is a lot of people have these religious belief systems, so they don't have all the other belief systems that make them a whole person. They don't understand why they're not making the money that they're making, right? And it's because they have the wrong belief system, right? So how do you change your belief system? You change the information, okay? I'll very simply put this. Yes, good, Manny. Thoughts become feelings. Feelings become actions. Actions become outcomes. Guys, thoughts become feelings. Feelings become actions. Actions become outcomes. If you want to change your belief system and your thoughts, how you start this is you start by changing, not your thoughts. You don't just say change your thoughts, because that's not going to work. You change the information. Okay? What does information even mean? Right? There's different types of information. There's also different delivery forms of information. All is information. If you go outside right now, before we had the internet, you didn't have anything. Before we even had language as humans, before we didn't even communicate through the English language or the language or a language, we communicated with body language, right? That was information. Guys, if I'm closed off like this and I stop talking so loud and like, guys, something happened, blah, 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 your information is Jordy's not okay. Jordy's feeling bad. I'm closed off. There's something wrong, right? That's body language. I don't even need to speak. If I'm just like this, you know something's wrong. Right? And so all is information, whether it's body language, whether it's actual language. Then we go into the evolution of the internet, whether it's social media. Then you get movies, you have TV shows, you have gaming, you have parents. Parents are the biggest information sources when you're growing up. The most important part of your belief system is crafted when you're around 8 years old. And so it's extremely important to know who your parents were and their belief system. And how you know very simply is, were they middle class people? Or were they upper class? Were they lower middle class? Were they poverty class? Will they have a set of beliefs around money and around viewing the world that was passed down to you? And so when I looked at my life and I wasn't making the money that I wanted to make, guess what was the problem? I looked at my life and I looked at all the information that was put into my brain. And as much as I love my mom loves me, and it is what it is. It's objective reality. My mom was born into a poverty class family. She was born in Louisiana. They didn't have that much money. They didn't know anything beyond jobs. The rich were bad. It was a bunch of bad money beliefs, right? And she then married my dad, and my dad was middle class. So the middle class and lower middle class kind of built some belief system there. And that belief system my mom worked like 3 jobs when she was young. She never made over like $2,800 in a month. She was always middle class. And I grew up with my mom. And so guess what? I reflected the information that she had, right? Which was feeding me middle class information. She didn't know that, and I love her to death. And she thinks like, I don't tell her this because she'll think that she did something wrong when she didn't. Because now I'm here being able to teach people what is wrong with society and how we can change our lives, right? But she fed this information that wasn't good, right? It was middle class. And my dad, middle class, and the people around me, my teachers, middle class people, they didn't know how to get rich. My friends, although we wanted to get rich, they weren't rich. So middle class. It was all middle class, right? And so when you look at it on paper, guys, it doesn't look good. All the information that I've fed myself my entire life was middle class. And so guess who I became? A middle class individual. Let me tell you something very simply. Your subconscious mind your mind in the first place works like a computer program. Okay? You are the coder of this game. You open up the laptop, you start typing, right? You make the new Sims game. If the user clicks the letter L, then the character turns left in the video game. If the user clicks the letter R, then the character turns right in the video game. Okay? When you are playing the game, you cannot expect to click the letter G and turn left. It's not how the game was programmed. When you click the letter L, you turn what? What direction do you turn, guys? Comment down below, especially my new people. Don't be funny either, seriously. What direction do you turn if the user clicks the letter L, the turn turns left? What direction do you turn when you click the letter L? Okay, exactly. You turn left. That is how the code was written. That literally is the code that dictates the game. Okay? You turn left. Now, your mind works the same exact way. What even is code? When I write, if the user clicks the letter L and the character turns left, what is that, guys? What is code? Code is information. You fed the computer a bunch of information, lines of code, which dictates the game. Right? Okay, perfect. Now, your mind works the exact same way. Right? All is information. You've been feeding yourself information, which created your lines of code, which literally dictate your game, your reality. And so if the user clicks the letter L and the character turns left, if the user is on a middle class program, if the user has been programmed for middle class level beliefs, then the user gets what outcome? Guys, what outcome does the user get if you fed the user a middle class program? In the game, you have this game character, you fed him middle class program belief system. He gets what outcome? Okay, exactly. He gets a middle class outcome. So here's the problem with everyday middle class people. They are expecting to click the letter G and turn left in the video game. If the user is programmed for middle class, they are expecting to get a world-class level outcome. They're expecting to become a millionaire off of literally when their line of code is literally programmed for middle class. Do you see it? Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's super simple. Like life becomes so much simpler once you understand that all is information. You programmed yourself wrong. You're on the wrong program. Once you simply change the line of code, once you simply change all the programs and you change your belief system, boom. That is what happened to me. I realized for the first time I had the wrong belief system. I changed my belief system with intention. I say, okay, what beliefs do I want? I want to believe in God and the spiritual side. Okay, so I believe in God now, right? There's no downside risk to not believing in God. Literally zero. The world can either work for me or against me. So I might as well make it work for me by believing in a higher power. So spiritual side, boom, I believe in God. But my money side, what do I believe about money? What do billionaires believe about money? Well, I learned that money has a relationship. You have a relationship with money. When I open my bank account, do I feel fear? Do I feel anxiety? Do I feel guilty for spending $100 on drinks yesterday, low frequency things, and I feel guilty for spending that money? Do I feel shame for spending the money? Do I feel jealousy that other people are making more money than me? Those are all low frequency emotions, low frequency states of mind. And so the first belief that I found about money is that you have a relationship with money. Most middle class people don't have a relationship with money. They don't even know money has a relationship to them, with them. Right? The next money belief that I have is your income will never exceed your level of personal development. What's personal development? Skills, beliefs, and traits. If your skills, beliefs, and traits are not constantly rising every single day, your money will not go up. Point blank and simple. If your money does go up and your skills, beliefs, and traits stay the same, do you know what happens next? You will either A, feel imposter syndrome, you will B, self-sabotage yourself immediately, or C, something will happen in the universe, or magically something went wrong, and you said, why did this happen to me? It's because God stripped your income because you didn't want to work on self. Right? So you focus on your skills, beliefs, and traits every day. You should feel literally fear. You should feel guilt in your soul for not working on yourself every single day. That is the belief system that I hold on money that has allowed me to get to this fast track route to the 1%. Because I hold money. Do you see how the money beliefs are different? Middle class people don't understand relationship with money belief. Middle class people don't have the belief that their income is in direct correlation to the amount of people, or their income is a personal development journey. Middle class people don't have the belief system that their monetary, the money that they make in the real world is in direct correlation to the amount of people that you serve. Right? The question is if you're in debt right now, if you're not making the money that you want to make, how many people did you serve? How many people did you serve yesterday? 0? So then why are you expecting to make money? Your income is in direct correlation to the amount of people you serve, so serve more people. Right? And if you feel like you're not serving people, guys, TikTok Shop, you are serving people. If you sell supplements on the internet, and those supplements have 4.5-star reviews, and they've clearly helped people, and you sell 10 supplements a day, right? You are helping people. You are making their problem, you are solving their issues. If they're losing their hair and you have a supplement for them, you are solving their insecurity issue, right? If they have another issue, right? So I'm not going to go into the probiotic pills for women, but I was about to. But if they're literally, your pH is off, there you go. Okay, if you take ashwagandha and they're stressed out and they reduce stress, right? Like it's, guys, you're serving people, right? So serve more people, that's your answer. And if you don't know what to do, I mean, if you want to serve more people, you take it to the internet. You start a personal brand, you do stuff that gets you more eyeballs to serve more people, right? So those 3 money beliefs is what separates middle class people from world class people, right? Then you have like actual personal beliefs. Like, what do I believe about the world, right? Guys, when you look at great companies, I'll tell you something interesting, and also I'm going to tell you why I believe. I know this is a little bit something on another topic, but I believe that this is fundamentally why America is not moving in the wrong way, but I believe that this is what America needs, right? So when you look at great companies, right? When you look at very world-class companies that build great things, what do they all have? They all have a vision for the employees, a vision for the workforce. They all know which direction they're moving towards. Like every single company will have like, this is where we're moving towards, right? Like we're trying to do this. And so if you look at like China, their 2049 plan, right? They have a plan that people can get behind. Right? If you look at America, we don't have I don't know what the heck that is, Jarvis. We don't have a plan to actually get behind. Right? And so when you look at you as a human, guys, this isn't about 6%, this is about you as a human, you as a person. Where are you moving towards? Right? Where are you moving towards? And so if you're moving towards a specific, this is about personal beliefs, guys. Every company also has what? Core values. Right? Like these big companies will have core values. Like this is our values. Our values are excellence in the workforce. Our values are always care. Like what are the values of a Christian, right? Like always care about thy neighbor, right? Or like love thy neighbor, right? That's a value, right? You love thy neighbor. You love everyone, regardless of the person, regardless of what happened, you still have high frequency emotion towards them. You still love them, right? And so what you do is you have your personal belief system that runs your world, right? And it allows you to go. The problem is most people don't assess this stuff. They don't have like their own personal belief system. They don't know what they believe. And you move through life getting other people's beliefs, right? So I'll tell you, going back to it, going back to the information sources, guys, the most important thing that you can do today, especially if you're brand new, is the removal of the wrong information that goes into your brain. The removal of wrong information. Okay? The removal of wrong information is the key to your first step in change. If you're watching unhealthy information on movies, TV shows, social media, news all day, if you're playing games that have bad info, all the information, if you have a bunch of friends that just doubt you all day, if you have parents that doubt you, if you have a bunch of information that you're feeding your brain that is negative, that is unhealthy information, that doesn't get you to where you want to go, 10.0 self, then you need to remove that information first. It doesn't take long. You only need about 80 days on average to truly subconsciously reprogram yourself. You don't need a long time. This isn't like you don't have to do this for the next 6 years. Like I can go watch you can go watch a movie after, like it just takes a couple months to really reprogram self and understand your new belief system and truly have a new identity, right? It's called an identity shift. So when you have an identity shift in the CIA, they call it brainwashing, right? A brainwashing literally translates to an identity shift, right? I'll read what brainwashing definition is on Google, but of course, all right, I can't even read this just because they completely throw propaganda at this word. Anyway, I can't. There's literally just pure negativity along the word. Anyway, brainwashing in the CIA files literally states a complete identity shift. That is what it is. It's not about being bad or good, guys. It has nothing to do with like brainwashing by sending some MK Ultra. They put this person in a room. They hook them up to a tester, a neural mapper, and they say like, and they starve him, and they see what happens, or they do specific things to the individuals, or what happens when you put a bunch of slaves in a room and try to. It's not about harming people, guys. Brainwashing is actually a good thing. What it does is it washes the brain of the beliefs. If you put a bunch of dirty clothing articles in a washer, what is that? It's a bunch of dirty clothing articles that go inside the washer to get clean, to wash, right? And so what does the washer do? It washes dirty clothes and makes them clean. Now, if you think about it, every single shirt that's dirty represents a belief. And so if you put a bunch of beliefs into a washer, you close the washer, you put it on 60 minutes and you hit wash, guess what happens? You wash the belief system. And so then what you do is once you wash the belief system, you take out clean articles of clothing that all have new beliefs. They're clean, they're washed. That is what brainwashing truly is it washes the brain from the old belief system. It's like snakes shedding skin, right? And so a complete identity shift is very simple, right? A complete is full, holistic, right? 100% complete. Identity is a repeated beingness, how you view yourself every day. The definition of identity, very simply put, is repeated beingness. We'll look up the actual definition for you guys so that we're all on the same page. The fact of being who or what a person or thing is, right? Repeated beingness. If you constantly repeat every single day your beingness that you have this business that you do, right? That is who you identify as. Or if you identify as a focused person or a consistent person or a gym goer, like whatever you identify as, that is who you view yourself as. That is your identity. And if you identify as a person who's not rich, you won't get rich. So you have a complete identity and a shift. What is a shift, right? Call it quantum leaping, right? Shift. Let me tell you guys the definition of shifting, right? A move or cause to move from one place to another, right? You are changing gear. You are literally going this way, and you are doing a complete shift in your identity, right? When you have a complete identity shift, this is what happened with me. This is why I'm a different person, guys. By the way, I went through my story the other day. In 19 to 22, I realized, like, after going through my story, because I had to tell my story for like over a 2 hour, they sat me down 2 hours. Shout out Better Brian. Anyway, shot me down for 2 hours. I started speaking on my story from 14 to 22, and I realized 19 to 22 is actually a pretty bad time in my life. Like I didn't talk to my friends. My mom started to secretly doubt me. She didn't say it, but she started to doubt me. I started to doubt myself immensely. I stayed in my room a lot, dark room. I kept studying marketing, but I look back and it was not a very bright moment those 3 years. Now that I really understand, I always kind of blocked it from understanding what it was. But I like stopped talking to all my friends. I moved away. I was living with my mom. My mom started to doubt me. I felt like a dud to society, and I just played video games and like I was pretty much a dud, right? It was a pretty harsh time. Like it got me emotional thinking about it because I never really went back into my age and really understood that like, oh wait, that was like probably a serious like a depression stage. And I didn't understand that at all looking back until I reflected on it the other day. And so like I've always been like I always knew that I wanted to make money, but that's just another delusional kid, right? Like just because you say you want to make 20 grand a month, you can still be depressed and like in bed and like not do anything with your life, right? So I literally completely like then I moved out and I had these beliefs, but I never had the correct core system to run me as a human. Like most people get into a side hustle, like guys, most people get into a side hustle and they have this they do the side hustle, but they have the wrong system of thinking philosophy around business in the first place. Like you don't get into a side hustle and focus on instant gratification of the side hustle. Like middle class, here's another major belief, right? Middle class people believe that they get the result after the input immediately. World class people have delayed gratification. And mind you, an entrepreneur knows how to delay gratification. Entrepreneurs can work for 5 years and be completely fine being broke as long as they're building what they want to build. Like they're willing to take risks. Obviously, yes, it's for money. Like there's a deep root for money, but a lot of entrepreneurs just love taking excessive risks and love building great things. And they have that delayed gratification because they love what they just love building, right? They're not focused on the money. Lottery thinking, wishing, hoping you hit the numbers today, 100%. A lot of middle class people have that problem. Like a lot of middle class people believe that because they put the input in, they need a direct outcome, they need a direct output, and that is not how a millionaire thinks. A millionaire knows how to delay gratification. They understand that by pushing off the need to get instant results. And how do you push off that need? You focus on inputs, not outputs, right? You have a purpose for your life, right? You understand how to serve, you understand about serving others. You know that you have a skill, belief, and trait deficit, right? Like if you want to get paid more by the market, if you want to make more money in the marketplace, right? Very simply put, if you want to make more money in the marketplace, you literally identify like a video game character. See like graphics so that I can drop these faster. We're gonna need ChatGPT 6FC graphics. Anyway, one sec, guys. I'm gonna show you guys something. Cue the Jeopardy music. All right, here we go. Here's player stats, right? We're looking at Messi versus Ronaldo player stats. I don't need to hear about your side. I don't really care. Okay. Anyway, so you guys can see. Here we go. Okay, here we go. All right. So here you guys can see. Chubb said C. Okay. Anyway, you guys can see, right? These players have stats, right? So you can see like he's rated 94, right? He's rated 93. These players have specific stats, right? Listen very closely. Your stats as a player, as an athlete of the game of business is skills, beliefs, and character traits, right? Like you don't dribble the ball. You don't need to know how to pass. You don't need to know how to score. You don't need to know how to have game, like, well, you do need game IQ, but you don't need to have all right. Your stats are skills, beliefs, and traits out of 100. And if you have a major skill deficit and the markets aren't, you're not demanding of the markets of your skill, right? Your markets don't demand your skill, right? This is why high income skills make so much money. They're high income skills. What even is high income skill? Like people say high income skills. What does that mean? What is high income skill? What about the skill makes it high income? You become more valuable to the market, right? Meaning something about the skill has a direct, like higher leverage output for this thing, right? So if you're doing content, right, and you develop the high income skill of content creation, right, you make brands a lot of money. That's a high income skill. If you make a brand $100,000, of course they're going to pay you $25,000. Right? You brought them $100,000 worth of business. That's a high income skill. Right? If you know how to sell people, right, which is TikTok Shop, but if you know how to like direct selling over the phone, that's a high income skill. Once again, advertising and sales. Right? Advertising and sales is always high income skills. Okay? So when you think about it, it's like, how good are you at the skills of what you're currently doing? If you're only a 34 out of 100 of content creation, stop whining and crying about not making 10 grand a month in TikTok Shop affiliate. You're not good yet. You're playing on the you're not going to play with these guys Messi and Ronaldo on the same team as them if you're rated level 34, right? You're probably some team in the middle of international nowhere that you play on because you're not that good yet. So in the game of business, if you're rated 34 out of 100 on the skill of content creation, why are you expecting to make money right now? Why? Like genuinely, it actually pisses me off. Why? Like if someone came in to my room right now, sat me down and said, I'm not making 20 grand a month. Well, first off, they have all these wrong beliefs. All of them are wrong. These people come in, they start whining about why they're not making money. And the first thing is I'm like, it's your belief system. My mindset's fine. Okay, well, that guy's screwed. Anyway, then fine. You want to talk about no mindset? Fine. We won't talk about your belief system that's keeping you broke. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about your skills. Put down on a piece of paper your actual skills. This stuff pisses me off. Like, put down your skills. Okay, you're a 30 out of 100 on content creation. You don't even know how to speak to the camera. You're not even comfortable on camera. You haven't gone through the even ability to develop the traits, skills, beliefs, and traits of confidence on camera because you don't even have inputs. And now you're going to sit in front of me and tell me why you're not making 20 grand a month? It's ridiculous. It's literally like, guys, it's so ridiculous to me how people think. Like, if you want to make $1 million in a year, you have to max out the skills, beliefs, and traits. My skills, beliefs, and traits aren't taking me to $10 million right now, which is why I live in objective reality and I don't cry about how I'm not making $10 million with my company. I figure it out. I fix it. I find the skills. I find the beliefs. I find the character traits that I need to do, that I need to adopt, that I need to make more potent in order to make me a $10 million a month company owner. It's not that difficult, people. It's seriously simple. And so most people they're delusional, straight delusional, right? So Mr. Tony Macaroni, by the way, I have to say happy birthday, Mr. Tony Macaroni. Mr. Tony Macaroni's birthday was the other day, and he had a good. I hope he had a good birthday, Mr. Tony Macaroni. So yes, happy birthday, Mr. Tony Macaroni. Mr. Tony Macaroni is one of the highest level secret faceless affiliates of all time. He's a faceless affiliate. He's done multi 7 figures on the platform. So yeah. But he don't DM him and stuff. He stays low key. You're not allowed to know who he is. Anyway, so happy birthday, Mr. Tony Macaroni. No. Anyway, go back to it, guys. Enjoy it, yes. Okay, guys, going back to it. Skills, beliefs, and character traits, right? Like, seriously, though. Guys, if you are trying to become a millionaire, if you are trying to go from where you are to where you want to be, your future self is not your current self. Like, does that actually register with you guys? Like, please, like, your future self is not your current self. They are different people. My current self makes 100 grand a month. My future self makes $1 million in a month. They're different people. Jordy 2.0, Jordy 10.0 has skills, beliefs, and traits that I currently don't have. I need to get better at them. I live in a reality. Like, it's like, you don't just turn on a little button and you're like, oh, you're at $1 million a month. And you're like, oh, here you go. Like, you just boom, there it goes, right? Like, things take work, and it works it's the entrepreneur himself that has to figure it out, and her that has to figure it out, right? So, guys, like, if you're not making the money and you're worried about it, if you're not making the money, very simply put, I promise you, you look at your skills, you look at your beliefs, you look at your traits, you're going to know exactly why you're not making money in the world. And this is how you reverse engineer however much money you want to make in the world. I'm serious. When you unlock this awareness of the world and how it works, this is how you reverse engineer however much money in the world you want to make. Now, things take time. You can't put a deadline on it. You can't say, I want to make $10 million tomorrow. I don't put deadlines on things and say, I want to make $10 million in the next 90 days. Like, I don't like, yes, we have goals, but I don't delude myself. I know that things take time. And so I don't really care about time. Time's not a worry to me because I just focus on personal development, right? And so what you do is if you want to make $1 million in a year, you reverse engineer the skills, beliefs, and traits. You're like, okay, $1 million earner in TikTok Shop Affiliate is a literal 93 out of 100 skill. I am currently a 30. You see, your future self is right here at 93. Your current self is 30. What do you need to do? I just spit all over my camera. What do you need to do? I'm getting fired up. What do you need to do? Guys, what do you need to do if you want to make $1 million? You have to get to 93. You're at 30. So what do? You improve the skill. How do you improve the skill? What is your plan? Are you planning on going every single day at 1 hour a day? You come into 6FC and you actually ask questions? Do you ask in main chat questions? Do you do things? Right? What do you need to do? Okay, the next thing is, are you putting in the inputs? If you want to become a better Guys, if you want to become a better soccer player, let me ask you a question. If you want to become a better soccer player, what do you think is better to improve your skill? Do you think that you should practice passing for 1 hour a day or 2 hours? Let's say you have all the time in the world. Do you think you should practice in order to get better at passing 1 hour a day or 2 hours? Just very simply put. You don't have to go into, well, your energy to blah, 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 blah. What do you think you need to do? All right? Very simply put. Okay. 2 hours, right? You get more time in the game. Okay, if you want to become a better basketball player, right? Do you think you should put 40 hours a week into shooting the ball, or do you think you should put 80 hours a week into shooting the ball? What would make you a better basketball player if you're constantly improving? Okay, now the next question that I have is, what would make you a better soccer player? Would it be every time you shoot the ball, you ask what you did right and wrong, you assess the situation, you literally analyze? Wait a second, I had my foot right here and I should have swept through easier, right? I should have swept through like that, right? Like, you choose to analyze, right? A football player, if they want to get better at in-game things, at in-game pressure, okay? A football player who plays, when he comes back to the drawing board, do you think a football player should have a coach or no? Every single pro athlete has a coach. Am I right or am I right? Every single pro athlete team has coaches. Yes or no? The athletes are better than the coaches at the game, right? And yet they still have the coaches. They have several coaches. Exactly. Guys, you are an athlete of business, right? Like, it's very simple. Very simple stuff. Like, people overanalyze, people analyze the wrong things in life. Like, this is why when you have this awareness of business, when you have this awareness of the game, right? When you're this aware of the game, what happens is that just like investing, I tried to explain this the other day, guys. An investor and a trader, what makes a great trader, right? And trading, like actual, like literally, I'm talking about trading stocks, right? Is what makes a great trader is they're unemotional, right? But I need to understand something. Investors, they know how to put $1 in today and wait 20 years. And what investor doesn't do is they don't look at the day-to-day charts. Guys, if I invest in the S&P and I know that it grows 8 to 10% a year, and I just sit it in there for 30 years, I don't look at the S&P today and start whining because I went from 100,000 to 98,000. And I don't get excited because I went from 100,000 to 101,000, right? I don't get all excited. I don't freak out. I invest. I let it ride. And so what most people, this is very, very important because this is how most middle-class people don't think. Here's the problem, right? What most people do is they are living in the business and they are so attached emotionally to their business. They believe that their business is them, which is true. But when you are in business mode, you are unemotional. It is not you. It is a business. You're treating it like a business. Logically, it's a chess piece. It's a chess game. Banned account, okay, that's a pawn. That's a pawn removed on the board. It's okay, right? So most people, they're stuck in They're investing in their lifetime to become a better self, and yet every single day they are looking at the day to day. This, guys, I'm telling you, if you listen to this, this is the plague of the mass mind. Okay, listen again. You have an investor. The investor invests over 50-year time horizon. The investor doesn't care about the day to day. Doesn't matter. If it goes up to $101,000 and the next day it goes to 98, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to I'm not going to have high frequency or low frequency. I'm objective. I invested over 50 years. Okay, Jordy, I want to make $100 million. Okay, my future self. I want to have $100 million. Right, my current self. Right. I don't every single day wake up, like look at my banks and stuff like that and get freaking. I don't freak out. I don't freak out. I don't get emotional, right? Because I know my future self is there, and that's my investment, my future investment. And what I do is I operate every single day logically to just have my goal in the future, right? So the problem is most people get stuck in the day to day. Like you get all emotional in the day to day. You're like, oh my God, the earnings tab is, oh no. It's like, no, the earnings tab is fine. It's not about the earnings tab. You zoom out. You're like, I'm trying to become a 95 out of 100 content creator. I'm currently 30. Along that journey to 95 out of 100, if I'm right here only making $8 today, that's okay. It's the journey to 95. Do you guys get it? Like once you hit this, you're hitting $10,000 months anyway, $100,000 months. So if you're over here, like you're finally improving your skill and you're right here, why are you emotional? You're getting to 95. That's the goal. That's the objective.